Carl Za, and he's been on. He's friend of the network. I haven't met him. He hasn't been on with me, but he's been on with Nick a couple of times. I think Nick and was it Vijay Prasad? Yeah, I think he had both of them on during one of the summits. Let me read the caption. This is Carl, Chinese journalist, and they shot him out. Caught UN spokesperson in a lie about illegal U.S. military occupation of Syria. Like I said, this is pretty glorious. Let's listen to this exchange between this journalist and, imperialist mouthpiece here. Let me say it. Yeah, I'm feel.
Do you think the presence of the U.S. military in Syria is illegal or not?
That's not an issue that we're dealing with at this stage. There's been a war.
But is that
why is he stumbling over his words like that and stuttering? To me, that's a tell. Because if I'm asked this question, let's let him ask it again.
Do you think the presence of the U.S. military in Syria is illegal or not?
If I thought that was illegal, like generally thought, I would be like, no. No, I don't think it's illegal. If it's a no, it is very simple. It is no stumbling of the words. But if it's a yes, then you get this.
That's not an issue that we're dealing with at this stage. There's been a war.
But is that because it sounds very familiar. This week we talk a lot about the UN Charter, the international law, and relative resolutions. But it sounds to me a foreign military based presence in another country without invitation sounds like something else to me.
I'll leave your analysis to you. That there's at this stage.
What's the difference between Syria, the situation in Syria and the situation in Ukraine?
There's no U.S. armed forces inside of Syria, and so I don't have a. It's not a parallel situation.
You're sure there's no U.S. military personnel?
I believe there's military activity.
Yeah,
but in terms of a ground presence in Syria, I'm not aware of that.
Okay, 5 U.S. service members were injured in that attack. If there were no U.S. service members in Syria, how could they got injured?
I told you it was glorious. So let me see if I can pull up that article really quick. 5 U.S. members, and then let's go Syria. So this is what comes up. This is the heel, and I'll take this down and show that. So I'll take this down and go to my other screen here. When you Google 5 U.S. service members, Syria, U.S. contractor killed, 5 service members wounded during drone strike in Syria. So, as the brilliant Chinese journalist said, how could these service members be wounded during a drone strike if there's no service members in Syria? It's like, this is a joke. Like, there's several articles here. NBC News, U.S. contractor killed 5 service members. U.S. conducts airstrikes. That's the Department of Defense. I wonder how they describe it. I should check it out and see. And then multiple attacks target U.S. bases in Syria after airstrike hits. Multiple. So let's get back to the video, and I'll play it again, but this time I shall stop. Oops. Where are My bad. I wasn't supposed to go back. I was supposed to change screens because that's usually my MO is just to go back. But all right, so that was classic. Got to hear it again.
Do you think the presence of the U.S. military in Syria is illegal or not?
That's not an issue that we're dealing with at this stage. There's been a war.
But
I wonder if Chinese journalists are going, or is there going to be more viral videos like this of Chinese journalists sort of pointing out the hypocrisy of the Ukraine with them trying to negotiate peace, pointing out, maybe this is part of their peace plan. You're trying to negotiate between the countries, but you also have to negotiate in the realm of public opinion, and him pointing this out. Well, what's the difference in Syria and Ukraine? What's the difference? Another journalist was like, what's the difference? I think he was a AP journalist. Another journalist, well, what's the difference in Palestine and Ukraine? And unable to answer. So, but it would be curious to me, it would be interesting to me if we start to see Chinese journalists have this sort of tactic of going at it this way, making a point and making U.S. representation or U.S. rep look like a complete idiot as this one does.
But is that because it sounds very familiar. This week we talk a lot about the UN Charter, the international law, and relative resolutions. But it sounds to me a foreign military based presence in another country without invitation sounds like something else to me.
You have military presence without invitation in a foreign country, which is what the United States is doing in Syria. It sounds just like what you're describing as happening in Ukraine. So what is the difference?
I'll leave your analysis to you. That there's at this stage.
What's the difference between Syria, the situation in Syria and the situation in Ukraine?
There's no U.S. armed forces inside of Syria, and so I don't have a. It's not a parallel situation.
You're sure there's no U.S. military personnel?
I believe there's military activity.
Yeah,
but in terms of ground.
Can the U.S. have military activity and U.S. people not be on ground? Is that a thing? Maybe I'm missing something here, but let's continue.
Presence in Syria, I'm not aware of that.
Okay, 5 U.S. service members were injured in that attack. If there were no U.S. service members in Syria, how could they got injured? That's weird, right? Should I ask you about that?
Glorious. Let's see if the reporter actually has let's see if he actually has any. Did he put it out? Maybe he didn't even put it out. Let's see. Oh, wow, he has one tweet. Wow, so somebody else put that out. So maybe I have to look for it. Let's go here. Yeah, I guess I'll look for it. I'm wondering if what is said at the end of that clip, if what else he says, or how does he get past that particular moment. And let's see. This is about the same length, so I doubt that it's different. It looks like this is all the same. This is 120. Oh, this is a little bit more. Let's see if it gives his answer at the end. Maybe it does. Let's listen. Oh. All right, let's listen.
Military in Syria, they got injured. That's weird, right? Should I ask you about that?
It stops at the same place and then it just has this added. I thought it was it had a few more seconds at the end, so I thought it was a longer to hear his response. So I'll give it a couple more tries, and then if I can't find it, we'll move on. It's the same clip, a minute and 20 seconds. Let's see this one. Shit. All right. It doesn't look like there is a usable one that's longer than a minute and 20 seconds. So, I really wanted to hear what he said after there. All right, I think we can call it there then. So since I'm unable to find it, but still, again, just great exchange. Actually, let me click on. Let me see what some people have said. And when I go to Carl's, let's go here. Let's look at some of the quotes. He got quite a few. And I'll start at the bottom. Yeah. All right, so let's see. Oh, look! Seems we found a clown. We are at the stage the obvious things are denied. Let me blow this up a little bit. It says, we are at the stage the obvious things are denied. We all know Americans blew up Nord Stream and that they have troops in Syria, but there are plenty of people denying it. Funny. Retweet that one. And continue. Let's see what some other people have said. Interesting back and forth. NATO, if you don't like these results, we have others. Something in Spanish there. The U.S. is the biggest donor to the UN funding annually. Its shares is almost as big as the next three donors for 2020-2021. Because of this, it is expected for the U.S. to have a large degree of influence over what the UN does. And it gives so now you understand why the UN is saying what he's saying. The UN spokesperson is saying what he's saying. Look at this part here, this receipt here that this person brings up. The 2020 budget represents an average of 2.1% decrease, so I don't need to read that. Here are the top 10 providers for the UN. United States, almost 28%. China is next with 15%. Japan, 9%. I'm rounding. Germany, 6%. So they have more. I mean, if you add these together, is that the same? 14. Oh, it's about the same. So it's close. So you get these close when you add China, Japan, and Germany. That's when you finally reach the percentage that the U.S. has. So you see why they answer the question the way that they do. So that was a great quote tweet.